Yo, what is up?
Party people.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Flock Nation, let's fly. Couple of
Rock
good.
Nation, stand
You know
up.
what? I'm going to be honest, guys. I start the streams and in my brain I have a script, right? It is what's up party people and then straight into some good games tonight. Let's talk about them. Dude, some awful games
Break it down.
tonight, dude. The National Blowout Association struck a couple of
Yeah.
just disgusting games, man. Those are just the worst. I mean, this Golden State Knicks game, 132-94. We didn't even see starters in the fourth for the Warriors. Shout out to our Draymond Green to cover 6 assists.
Yeah.
Had six exactly with no fourth quarter play.
Yeah.
Bulls Heat was all right, but man, I mean, just that game was awful. The Pistons Jazz game got pretty ugly in the fourth towards the end. And this Memphis Denver game, 35-14 right now, dude. It's just these like blowout games are just, I mean, and it's the first, right? I mean, it's NBA, this stuff can come back, but those games just they hurt the soul, man. But it's all right. We have to at least shout out the Lauri Markkanen Masterclass. That's the clickbait title, dude. What a night, man.
Unfortunately.
Had himself he was looking like Valanciunas out there cashing those threes.
Yeah,
What
I mean,
we kind of expected it, right? I mean, not this though. 9 for 13 from 3, 13 for 20. Only had 5 boards, an assist and a steal, but 38 points, dude. He
yeah.
just couldn't
It's
miss, and it's the Pistons defense, man.
I had a feeling about this game. I did think the Pistons were gonna keep it close, so I was wrong about that. But I did feel good about Ivy. I felt good about Markkanen.
Oh, Ivy, yeah. If
I
I
did feel
had
good
an
about
if
Ivy.
I had an Ivy thumbnail, we would be talking about Jaden Ivy right now, but I didn't, so we went with
Yeah.
Lauri Markkanen.
What's up, Renzi? How you doing? Always good to see you
Yo,
in the chat.
Mr.
So not see
Treasure.
you. Always good to read you.
Yeah, dude. How about do you want to talk about Jaden Ivey though? I think Lauri Markkanen's kind of like there isn't much to talk about, right? It's just like yeah, Lauri torched the Pistons. Like I mean, we could have guessed that he had a good night, but just like crazy efficient shooting, couldn't miss, really solid night. But how about Jaden Ivey, man? Talk about efficient shooting though. I mean, really efficient night for him. Obviously, career
Yep.
high 30. I think it was the. I mean, insanely efficient. 30 points, 10 for
Yep.
14, hit both his threes. Peripherals
Yep.
were what you expect from him. I feel like that was it's kind of nice to see him kind of settle in. I really feel like, I know we got some crazy peripheral games from early in the season. He feels like a 4-4 guy, doesn't he? Especially like when Cade's healthy, like maybe 5-4, maybe 5-5 at the peak,
Yeah.
like for a season. But
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like a 4-4, and like maybe if the Pistons are like get more of a high octane offense, he can slip into 5 assists, 6 assists.
mhm.
But no, like this is like what we drafted him for. Like this is like
Yep.
his ceiling, right? And
Yep.
so this is like what we drafted him for. He's doing it already. Obviously, right at the start of the season, we knew he could do this, and there's been a bit of a lull. So this is a very good sign for people that have Ivy, have held Ivy throughout, to see this. So
Yeah,
good performance
I
from
will
him.
say that the nice thing with Ivy though, even in this lull, and I see Mr. Treasure, I see the speaking of Ivy, should I drop Steven Adams to keep Ivy? I think his ceiling is worth more than Steven's solid floor. Yeah, I will say too, I agree with that 100%. I think we talked about,
Yeah,
I mean, the opportunity Ivy has is amazing, right? Obviously, Killian stepped in and played well, but obviously we're Pistons fans. It's awful. Cade's out for the season, but just a really good opportunity for a guy like Ivy to just absorb so much offensive usage, and we've seen him kind of have these blow up games. But I will say, even with this lull, like he's had a pretty, I don't want to say decent floor, right? Because if you look at a guy like Steven Adams, just the rebounding numbers when he's going to play starter minutes. But Ivy's floor hasn't been awful, right? I mean, this most recent stretch, his worst game was just the 20-minute game against the Kings, and he was still, 5 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Like he's kind of been like a 10-3-3, which isn't like, I mean, you can find that on the waiver wire, 10-3-3. I'm not talking about that as like an amazing thing, but I think he
yeah,
has like 20-point upside any night with decent peripherals. And
yeah,
it's hard to find that. And I agree. I think he's in the kind of opportunity where it's like, it's not just the, oh, rookie breakout. He's a rookie, shiny new toy. Maybe he'll be better. Like we're seeing it and he has the opportunity. So,
yeah, definitely. Is
mm,
GTJ a hold in 10 team points? Yeah, what is Gary Trent? I know he's on I know he's IL eligible, I believe it is, for teams
Hmm.
in fantasy. I
Yeah,
don't
he's missed the
remember
last
how
three.
long his injury is supposed to keep him out for. He was questionable. He's already questionable tomorrow, I believe. But I
Yeah,
don't know if we have a
I think
timetable.
the last thing I remember seeing was that it was expected to at least be um like
But
I expect him to miss this next game, but I think he should be back soon. But yeah, I mean in a points league, like I get that he doesn't give you peripherals. I don't play in any 10 team league, so I it's hard for me to like
yeah, I was gonna look at
think
his
about like the waiver wire, who's on your give me your like best waiver wire claims versus Gary Trent. My initial thought is no, but I'm just curious.
right. Right now, he's kind of near Kemba, Bruce Brown, Mike Conley, Fultz, Cole Anthony in fantasy points per game. Ben Mathurin.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
want to like obviously
I
he's
don't.
been bad. Like I'm not trying to like play it cool, but
Suggs
like
from
the peripherals
waiver,
are
Markkanen.
obviously awful, and I think it's just
I,
tough, right? Because he's just like he can just score like 16, 17
yeah,
a night, and that just shouldn't be on the waiver wire, you know?
yeah, I like him more than Melton, long term. I
Yeah,
like him. I kind of like him more than
I think I
Suggs
like him
too,
more than
almost.
Suggs. Yeah.
I know Suggs is technically higher, so he's 120th right now in fantasy points per game. But you know, that's like the discrepancy between 120 and 110 is like half a point. So
Hmm.
it's all pretty tight. It's tough in a points league. I think he's better in category leagues because it's tough in a points league because
Yep.
obviously he gives you a lot of points and threes, which isn't super beneficial for points. Like he is a very good defensive
Yeah.
player. Like he'll give you steals. But like category league is so much better because he's so heavy in threes, he's so heavy in points, he's so heavy in steals. And then like percentages are usually decent. And so like he can be a solid contributor in a category league. In a
Yeah.
points league, in a 10 team points league, maybe he's not, especially
I
recently.
wouldn't rush to add Suggs. I know it's just like I think it's just soreness, but he's been out for a minute, and I haven't seen any kind of reports on like expecting him to be back soon. So I think him specifically, and I think if it's even like a 50-50 thought in your mind, don't rush to add the player who you know are I feel like Gary Trent's going to be back before Suggs. Just from reports, right? He's already questionable for this next game. Suggs has just been out, and there's just I haven't heard anything. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you guys have heard anything
Yeah,
different. The last Suggs things I've seen have been like no clear timetable, which is the worst phrase in fantasy basketball.
yeah, I would think like Trent Jr. would be out for like, oh, I said Trent Jr. I think Trent would be out for like
Gary.
probably a week. Yeah, Gary will probably be out for like a week. Because it's like he's already tagged with questionable and or out for the next game like tomorrow. Like that's an early news. So typically that means like they're already expecting him to miss a couple games. So I'd say he's like out for like a week. But
Are
yeah,
you in a league? Wait, time out. I
yep.
We need to start asking this question
Are you
because
asking me or him?
no, I'm asking him, but I'm talking to you, asking him. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I love this.
Canyon and I, neither of us play in leagues. I think it's ESPN has this as like part of the format where
ESPN stinks. I'm just gonna
I don't want to
throw
say
that
it.
out there.
Negative points for missed shots. A guy like Gary, where his fantasy
Yeah,
points, like so much of it is just on his shot volume. In those leagues, I think Gary's a guy I don't want on my roster because he can kill you, man. Because he's not going to give you rebounds, he's not going to give you assists. Like, yeah, the defensive stats will come, but like here and there. But man, he's a guy where it's just all shot volume, and he can just have a night where it's like you don't even want to play him in that kind of league. And I don't play in it, so
yeah,
I don't even know that. But knowing and hearing about that, and people come in here, right? Keldon Johnson, people are like, yeah, Keldon killed me tonight. We're like, killed you? Like, he had an okay game. And they're like, no, he shot 30% from the floor. He killed me in this league. Uh, that's why I wanted to drop. Yeah, RJ, yeah. Oh, dude, you're not a fan of that, right? We've had this conversation.
what is it? Yes, I'm
It's
doing
just the
ESPN. Like,
negative points for
oh,
shot.
drop RJ though. I don't know.
Oh no, I'm just talking about the league overall. I
Oh
get
yeah,
it that it's like I feel like it's just so hyper focused on like efficiency, and like it's like a different kind of league, right? It's like
it's
you're
it gives a
drafting.
gives a very big nod to bigs.
Yeah. Right. And for me, it's like that's not fun in my mind to be like I need to grab because it's not even like oh you want the best. It's like fantasy, like real life basketball. You want the best players who like shoot well. It's like okay, it's kind of like that, but really it's not because you're just kind of shifting it towards more not more efficient shooters who shoot more efficient shots, which is not fun in my mind.
I think, yeah, I think my problem with it is that at the end of the year, everybody shoots a certain percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether you shoot really
Yeah,
poorly for a
that's
month,
true.
a week, whatever it is, your average is going to be semi close to a certain percentage for most people, right? Even the Barretts, the Trey Youngs right now, the people like the Fred VanVleets, the people that just go cold for games. Like at the end of the year, you're going to be at a set percentage that's reasonably within what you've been doing for most of the season or the league average. The problem with that though is that doesn't mean anything because it's a week to week game, right? So you're just gonna
Yeah.
die on a week because people can just go cold. But at
Yeah.
the end of the year, you look at the stats and it's like, well, RJ Barrett had the same shooting percentage as
Mm.
John Morant, or that's probably a bad example because he shoots super well, but
Yeah.
has the same shooting percentage as Luca, right?
Yeah.
Same percentage, but like week by week, Barrett can just go so much more cold than other players.
Yeah.
So like you really get hurt on a certain week. Whereas at the end of the like, if you take a macro perspective and you look outside of it, like end of the year, like it's pretty comparable to other players. But because they go through such cold stretches at such, grouped moments, you just lose a week because of that. So it's kind of annoying
Yeah.
because it's like the part is not equal to like the sum almost.
Yeah, for sure. Yo, what's up, Scorp? What do I do with LBJ? His injuries are yeah, dude. NBA fantasy, man. He's not worth the second round price I took on him. It's so tough because he's on a per game basis. He is right. I mean, right now, what is he? He's the ninth player. I mean, in a points league, and obviously in a category league, he's a really good player as well. But I mean, would you in a points league? It's so tough to sell them right because how low can you go and feel
How
good
low
about it?
can you go?
Like, would you trade LeBron for Trey in a
No,
points league?
no,
I
I'd
wouldn't
rather
either.
have LeBron.
Would you trade LeBron for Curry? He's going to be out for 3 weeks.
Mm, yes.
Okay, that's the kind of trade where I think you could do that. You might even be able to get a plus on it. Like the next game LeBron's back.
Yeah, because I mean, LeBron and Curry are neck and neck in fantasy points per game, but LeBron's just not going to play as many games as Curry. Like, so you might be able to take advantage of it because Curry's going to be out for a month. And even with Curry out for a month, I still think Curry will play more games.
Yeah, I agree. Should I sell high on Lauri? Yeah. So the whole like sell high buy low market is it's all compared to like what price you think you can get for him, right? So like when you have a game like tonight, it kind of sucks, right? Because he didn't give you like super strong peripherals. Like he easily could have had like in one of his like 8 rebound games. That's what he's averaging this season. But I guess it wasn't awful. But 38-5-1 in a defensive stat. I mean, we can look at where Lauri's at right now. Let me find him here. Points.
And
Yeah, just like in a points league. I mean, he's like top. He's like right on the edge of like top 40.
yep,
Oh
yep.
man, dude, could you? Do you think you could do like Lauri plus for Lamelo? Do you think? Do you think?
Oh yeah, I definitely think you could.
Do you think? Do you think the Lamelo manager would do that?
I
I
think,
would try.
I
Why
think
not
people, yeah,
try?
I think a high percentage of Lamelo owners are very frustrated.
Yeah.
So, and it's only going to get, you know, they're only going to get less frustrated as the year goes on. I would think so.
Yep.
Now is a as good of a time as it will ever be. Um,
And this isn't
moving
even an
forward.
anti Laurie thing. I think we both
It's just capitalizing on his value.
yeah, and I think we both think like Laurie for the season, like I mean, right now he's averaging 22, 8, and 2. Um I mean, he's had an incredible stretch too, on pretty efficient shooting, I will say. That's kind of my one fear with Laurie is he's great, right? And I'm not even saying this is like a super negative thing. I'm not even going to be like, oh, he's only going to average like 17 points the rest of the season. Like I think he'll be right around 20. Like I think on the season, but I just think that he's not going to be able to consistently do what he's doing in this like really nice stretch. Because if you look at the shooting, it's like anytime a player shoots like 60, 70% plus from three in a stretch, that is like let me trade this guy right now, because like he's just not going to do that for the season. Obviously, no human is ever going to do that. And he's shooting 43% from three this season, 53% from the floor, 43% from three. So he's just like, he's been more efficient than I think he'll be. And even if I'm wrong, you're not going to feel bad about getting LaMelo for Lauri plus, even if Lauri continues to be hot for a good stretch.
Definitely.
So I would love to do that. And honestly, the thing with LaMelo too, and the reason I brought up his name specifically, I know he's had like pretty good games too. So I know some people might be like, you're not going to be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, he's had a really, really good stretch. So I think like that's why it has to be a plus for sure. But I think I could pull it off. Talking about the LeBron for Curry trade. Yeah, you could probably get, so I think if you're doing that, I definitely want Curry plus, because he's going to be out for a minute. And I want you to understand that. Like, I don't want you to go make this trade and be like, the hell, Curry's going to be out for like 3 to 4 weeks. Like, that's why you can make the trade. But, and I will say, like, it's not like you're fleecing him. Like, we like LeBron, but we both agree that from an injury perspective, season long, it's tough. So I think getting the plus, you should be able to do, and I would have no problem doing. Our league doesn't do that. So I think you're talking about the ESPN negative points. But another player on the waiver wire my eyes on is Grimes, getting a lot of points. Yeah. Grimes has been playing well. He's been getting pretty solid minutes. How are you feeling about Grimes? I know we've had some.
Yeah, we had a waiver wire video. I believe we talked about Quentin Grimes.
He's been playing really consistent minutes over this like most.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, we talked about it in that video. Like Thibodeau just really likes Grimes lately, and he's been playing a lot more minutes. He's been playing over Cam Reddish, even though like Cam Reddish, healthy or not, I think Thibodeau just gives the nod to Grimes. And so now all of a sudden he's found himself into a starting role. And if starters go down, he's going to get a lot of work, and so it can only go up from here. I think even if he does end up moving to a bench role, he still can see like high 20s in minutes. So I do like Grimes in a points league. I don't love him. He's kind of like a Trent, right? He's going to be a high octane scorer, good threes with minimal peripherals. But I mean, for someone that's like off the waivers though, like in a deeper leagues, that's probably still there. Like he's a good value for people that like probably don't know that he's kind of playing this much and is this involved.
Yep. We can kind of quickly set up and take a look at these games, go through it a little bit. I can pull that up here. Let's start with the Jazz Pistons game. I know we kind of went through this a little bit already, but obviously Jazz beat the Pistons. It's all right. I think the Pistons side is a little more interesting. I mean, Jaden Ivey, monster game. I don't even know. Like, I know people are like, anytime a game like this happens, they're like, oh, sell high. Like, I don't think most fantasy people are like dumb enough to think that like this is what Ivey's going to do or anything. Obviously insane efficiency, but I still like Ivey. I think he can be a 16 4-4 guy. And that's great. Like if Ivey does that for the season, he is a great value where you drafted him.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting name to talk about here is Jalen Duren.
Yeah,
he has been playing strong, solid minutes. It continued tonight with another 30-minute game. 15 points, 14 boards. Obviously, the scoring is going to be up and down, right? It's a lot of lobs. It's a lot of offensive rebound putbacks. He doesn't really have a bag yet. I have a hope that we'll see a Duren bag in the next couple of years.
There's a skeleton there.
Right. Yeah. We saw it in the Summer League. We both were like, he's
a fadeaway, baseline fadeaway.
He missed it too, but
I mean, it's there.
Yeah, but I think like from a fantasy perspective moving forward, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's going to like be the smash waiver wire pickup of the season and it's going to give you 15 and 14 consistently. But I think if he plays 30 plus and it's just playing starter minutes, he's going to have these great rebounding games. The scoring is going to be inconsistent though. I'm not going to pretend like it's not going to be, but I think he could give you like 8 and 12 or something, 8 and 11, and that would be, in deeper leagues and even just like 12-team leagues. I think that's decent.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's gonna be solid.
Um, should I trade Shea, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Keldon for Kyrie, Bane, and Barnes?
Um, hmm, 12 team points. I mean, I think you're getting possibly 2, 3, and 4. You're probably getting 2, 3, and
It
4,
feels
and
kind
giving
of
up
it
1,
feels
5,
kind of
and 6.
fair. Do you have a
It
favorite
does feel
side?
pretty fair. I hesitate because Shea is just so much better than everybody else in that conversation to me in
Are
a
you worried?
points league.
Do you? What's your Shea like worry meter at? I know it's not
Not,
massive or anything, but
yeah, not too high. Um,
he's just been
he's played
so good.
28 games already. As much as like guys like Curry.
Yeah.
I think Curry. Wait, was it Curry?
I think it's
No, he's been
pretty
more than
fair.
Curry.
I think
I'm
if
just
I'm
kidding.
just like
Luka.
breaking down this trade, I
Luka.
think you could argue the 2, 3, and 4. But I would say though, like it's not by much, right? The 2, 3, and 4 isn't like, I guess specifically like the 3, 4, 5 in this trade. Honestly, 3 through 6 is like not that far apart in my mind.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I hesitate because I think
I
like
usually need best player in those deals.
you're getting 2, 3, and 4. You're giving up 1, 5, and 6, but your one to the rest of the field is so much bigger to me than the 2 through 6. So I would see if you can maybe bump up the Kyrie to someone else or
Mm-hmm.
the Bane. Just, I really like Barnes in a points league. So if you could, or maybe Bane, because
Yeah.
Bane might give the least amount of peripheral and defensive upside. Maybe, yeah, probably out of those guys. So maybe you like upgrade Bane and try it. I could flip Kyrie as well. I probably wouldn't plan on keeping him. Yeah, I mean that's a whole other Pandora's box right there of understanding your league mates and who you like.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
there's a
true.
guy in there that needs a guy like
I mean,
Kyrie or wants
Kyrie's been
Kyrie.
hot. He's like in this most recent stretch, right? I know he missed that Pacers
Yeah,
game, but I mean, he's had
it's a good trade.
really, really nice scoring games. I think you probably could turn Kyrie into something that's like a little bit worse
Yeah,
than Shea, and then you'd feel really good about the.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's a good trade. I would get a little greedy. I would try to upgrade Bane or Kyrie. I really like Barnes though out of that.
Speaking of Knicks players, Mitchell Robinson is one of my centers. He's having 100%. Mitchell Robinson, I got him off of waivers in a 12 team locked on league. Um, it's kind of like a big bowl league. It's 12 team,
Yep,
and man,
yep,
he's just been playing solid minutes. There was like I think it was a part of the Hartenstein scare right at the beginning of the
yeah,
season where he was
yeah.
playing decent minutes. And it was like he's big and he can shoot and he spreads the floor better. But man, dude, Mitchell Robinson, I think just like defensively is like so massive, and he's just been solid, man. Rebounding numbers have been really good. He's had these crazy games, and then the blocks. He can just have these like 4 block games. One of those guys where it's like, damn, Mitch Robinson was like my best fantasy player tonight out of nowhere. No, I love him. I
Yeah.
love him. Solid.
I currently also have Zion, Dame, and Hallie. Who
You have Zion, Dame, Hallie, and Shea. Just win the
is just
league.
going for depth. I don't hate the depth that you're grabbing though.
Yeah, but I think Shea, Jaren Jackson, and Keldon is decent depth. I feel like I like Keldon more than you do. Is that what it is?
I think Bane and Barnes offer such a high floor in a points league versus
Yeah,
Kelvin and Jared
that's
Jackson
true.
though.
I think
So
I
when
do
you
think that
have those
they're a little more
top heavy
consistent.
guys, yeah. So when you have those top heavy guys to like have that upper echelon of
That's fair.
elite players is nice, but then to have a supporting cast like Bane and Barnes that can just give you some consistent high floor performances in a points league.
Yeah. No,
Jared Jackson
I
can have
agree.
duds. He can be hurt. Calvin's been shooting
Yeah.
poorly some games.
I will say that
Yeah, maybe you do
regardless of you could argue the like 3 through 6, but I would agree that from a consistency standpoint, 3, 4 is Bane Barnes.
Yeah,
Drafted
definitely.
Luka and Siaka, made some trades there. Oh, solid. Oh, dude, I love both of those guys too. But I
Mm.
totally get it if that's what your team looks like now. Oh, I saw a trade question earlier. I think we skipped. Sup guys, should I trade Zion and Fox for Giannis? I have Jokic. That's too much to give. Dude, Zion's been. I know he had a pretty disappointing game against the Bucks.
I kind
Um,
of like that.
you do?
Kind of.
Can we get more info on the league? Dude,
I
Zion's just kind of like baby Giannis right
you
now. He's just like a
can
little
have,
bit worse than Giannis.
you can have Jokic and
But it's
Giannis.
been without Brandon Ingram, right? So I get the fear that like the Zion we're seeing right now, we're not gonna see when the Pelicans are fully healthy. So I get it.
Like that. I kind of like that trade. You guys like Jaren Jackson or Kuz versus season? That's a tough one. Two guys that I don't love.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, that's an interesting question for Cadian because you're not the biggest Kuz guy.
No, probably Kuz, honestly. I think Kuz just offers
Yeah,
a bit more consistency offensively
yeah,
and probably like assist like peripheral wise, he's been really solid.
yeah. I think for me it'd be Kuz. I don't want to say easily because I think it is close. Like I wouldn't think you're an idiot if
I
you
think that
prefer Jaren
I think
Jackson, but I think it's pretty easily Kuz.
if Kuzma played defense, it would be Kuzma easily. But like Jaren Jackson's like if it's a points league, his defensive upside and his blocks are just so insane that he can give you a huge chunk of fantasy points off defense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Is
Kuzma's
that
gonna
wait?
he's
Quick
gonna score
question.
more. He's
I
gonna be
have a
more
quick
peripheral.
question. Is it a points per foul league? I would want to know that info before making my decision on this because I definitely go Jerry Jackson in that league.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this so ugly. 46-30 right now. That Denver
I mean,
Memphis
yeah.
game. Ugh.
Yeah, these games are tough.
I'm gonna puke too. Like
Oh god.
all the scoring and everything is like Aaron Gordon is the leading scorer for the Nuggets. I'm gonna throw up. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's just one of those games. All right. Yeah, we can take a look. We can kind of go through these games quickly. Feel free to keep asking the questions in the chat. First picks were Jokic, Cade. That's tough, man. This team is like really. It's a really solid start if Cade was healthy. Jokic, Cade, Zion, and Fox. Front off for me, Giannis for Fox, Zion. I have Mobley, OG, Giddy, Maxi. Health is scary. Yeah, I actually. Yeah.
I mean, I like it. Just like say like counter and like grab like add someone
Yeah. If you could
add
add.
like his best worst player that's better than your
Yep.
worst player and just like see why not like scrape a little bit more.
100%.
Uh,
Yeah. I
when
that's the biggest counter thing, right? Is that guy really going to look at it and be like, "No, I'm not going to give you Jaden Ivey and Giannis. That's the deal breaker. That's the cutoff." I know Ivy just had a crazy game, so that's probably not the best example, but somebody like that, right? Like Killian or something. I know they're two Pistons guys, but I feel like Killian's a good example after this game tonight. Yeah, Pistons. I think Jalen Duran and Ivy obviously are the big talking points. Tough game for Killian. You know, didn't shoot a ton, couldn't get the shot to fall, and only played 26 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if there's much to talk about. Sadiq with a pretty disappointing game, but I wouldn't panic. I know he's coming off the bench and playing some weird sporadic minutes, but I know some people are calling him a drop in like 12-team leagues. I couldn't see that. Hard for me to imagine that like somebody on the waivers is better than Sadiq. On the Jazz side here, we talked about this a little bit, right? I mean, really good games for Markkanen, obviously Clarkson with a good game as well, and we we talked about like because of the Pistons, right? This could just be one of those games where like Vanderbilt has a really good game. He has 18,
Yeah.
13, and 6. Two
Yeah.
defensive stats, and then Kessler playing 27 minutes, 10, 9, and 1. Not like crazy, but 2 blocks, man. If he's gonna play 30 minutes, dude, Kessler can have these like 10 and 10, like these double point rebound games, and like give you like pretty nice block upside.
Yeah. Yeah. When Kawhi and Dame weren't playing, I ended up trading Trey, CJ, and Steven Adams for Dame, Kawhi, and Keldon. Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's even like with Kawhi being kind of meh. Like
Yeah.
even if he's out, Dame and Keldon for Trey, CJ, and Steven Adams isn't crazy,
Oh no,
right?
yeah.
Like maybe you don't win that, but like with Kawhi being meh, you probably still win that. And now if Kawhi
Right.
is
It's like worst
really this good,
Kawhi, the worst Kawhi versus Steven Adams.
yeah, like
Those
what
are
are we
the
doing
two.
here? That's called
Uh,
buying low right there, 100%. That's
yeah.
great.
Yo, what's up, JT? How do you guys feel about trading away Randall for Christian Wood and Jamal Murray, except decline? Uh,
I don't love it. I'd
yeah,
rather have
I
Randall.
don't even I don't think I like it in either. I was gonna ask points or category. That's kind of my default if I'm trying to like think through a trade, but I don't know if I like it in either. I know tonight was actually a pretty good category game for Randall. I don't think he had a really good scoring game with the blowout. But he's just been so good, man. So good. I do like
Yeah.
Jamal Murray though, I will say. So I get it. You know, you feel like Murray's been good. Obviously didn't play tonight, but no, I think Randall's too good for that 2-for-1.
Yeah. I mean, Christian Wood,
Oof, yeah.
he's he's just gonna be inconsistent for me. I know he's been hot lately, but like moving forward, there's just gonna be games where he's just like a waiver wire type
Yeah,
player.
he
He's gonna
plays
be
with
like a
Luca,
14 and
right?
6.
He plays with Luca.
Like he's solid. I do like him a lot. I think he could be really good, but like I don't trust him moving forward night in, night out. And then Jamal Murray also like with the injury, like I don't trust him night in, night out. And then Julius Randle is just he's been healthy. He's just
Yeah.
gonna be high usage. He's no matter where Julius Randle is since what his fourth year in the league, he just requires so much offensive usage,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been healthy for most parts of most seasons. He can do it all. He can score, rebound, sit. Like I really like Randle's a high floor, high ceiling guy to me, honestly.
Yeah. No, he's averaging more
Randle's
points
very
than he did
nice.
last season with the Brunson addition.
Yeah,
He's just Randall's been a lot better than I thought he was going to be this season.
Julius Randle was one of the most doubled players in all of the NBA last season. And so you bring in Jalen Brunson, and boom, it opens it up. He scores
Mm-hmm.
more. He's probably gonna do a lot better.
How
So
much of that do you think is just like him just bodying up somebody on the block, and they're like, "All right, we'll send another guy over. Like, if you're gonna do this."
I mean, it's that, and it's also like,
Because Cade,
okay,
like, it's
well,
different from
it's
Cade, right? Like, Cade
it's
was
just.
a really highly doubled guy in his rookie season, and a little bit of that was like the Pistons, but
I
um,
think it's the Knicks not having a point guard last year, and also
yeah,
like
that's true.
we'll double Randall, and we'll live with you dishing it out to RJ Barrett. Like
Yeah,
we will live with it.
if we lose to Fournier, so be it.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather lose to Fournier and Barrett than let Randall have a
Random
triple double
body
on
me
us.
up, yeah. And before that, I traded Ja Clarkson for Hallie CJ. Asian Dry Winning Points League. Hallie's been good. Yeah, for sure. I know Hallie was a
Good
big.
trade.
He was a big like category only guy for people. But I was happy. I actually took early second. That was my Ja Hallie draft. We really like Hallie, dude. He's just been so good.
Yeah, he's the man for sure.
We feel like he can even be more aggressive offensively, and he's still like been good scoring. You know,
Definitely. Oh yeah.
leading the league in assists. Gosh, so good. I love him. Okay, sorry. We need a little Hallie love. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this Warriors Knicks game. Obviously, blowout. On the Warriors side, Jordan Poole only plays 29 minutes. We expected more minutes from these Warriors guys, but it was a blowout. A lot of them did not play the kind of end portion of the fourth,
Yeah.
if any of the fourth, for Clay.
Yeah.
But
Sue us for expecting the Knicks to not beat the Warriors by 40. Sorry.
six point spread, beat them by
40.
38.
38. Like
Jeez.
you play this game over 100 times, they don't do that.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, Clay was pretty rough in this one, especially to start. Man, I think he must
Oh
have been
yeah.
like 0 for 4 or
I
something
think I
from
saw
three
him
to start.
airball like twice. At
Yeah,
least twice.
ugly. So I mean,
Yeah.
ugly game from Clay. Pool's just gonna be. I mean, not a great game for Poole, but man, I mean the usage is just gonna be crazy in this stretch without Curry.
I mean, half the guys on the Warriors bench were in the G League 2 weeks ago.
That's
Like
true. Wiseman
they're
got 22
struggling
minutes.
for depth. Yeah, it's kind of Ty Jerome played 24 minutes.
Yeah, no
Like shout
Wiggins
out to Ty Jerome
tonight.
though. I really like Ty Jerome. I actually wanted to
I know. I was gonna
draft him
say.
a couple years ago.
I was like, man, he was pretty good tonight too.
He felt like a second. Like I remember him coming out of Virginia like a couple years ago, and I wanted the Pistons to get him so bad. I was like, this guy's gonna be a sneaky good like backup point guard. Doesn't really get much love, but
Yeah,
got some luck tonight.
yeah. No, I don't know where to spend it. I mean, the Warriors, right? I mean, with the Curry injury, it's gonna be a lot of Poole. We didn't have DiVincenzo either tonight, so it's really hard to look at some of these kind of secondary guys from the Warriors, get intrigued by them. With no DiVincenzo, no Wiggins tonight. So we can just move on there.
Yeah.
Knicks side, I mean, just a decent game from all the Knicks guy. Another solid game from Grimes, who's been really consistent, man, in this most recent stretch. We already did our kind of Grimes love, so we can kind of move past that. We did the Robinson love too, so I don't know if there's more love to give other than
I mean,
crazy efficient quickly, man. 5 for 6 from 3, 22 4 and 2.
yeah, quickly had a game. I'll say like
Some fourth quarter
Barrett.
minutes.
Barrett had a solid game. I'll say like with Barrett, honestly, like you could talk about his inefficiency all you want, but the inefficiency stems so much from the three ball and at the line. Like he
Yeah,
actually can be pretty solid within the arc, but it's like he gets these games where he's like maybe like 6 for 16 or like 8 for 19 in this game, where it's just like not great, but like okay.
yeah.
But it's because he's like 1 for 6 from three or 2 for 7 from three and like 2 for 6 from the line. Like it's really weird. If he just, I don't know. I mean, they just live with him shooting out there.
Yeah, and
So
he just keeps shooting, man. And part of me is like, I get it.
well, it's what you probably should do if you're in the NBA and
Right.
you're a guy like Barrett who can hit it. Like
You just can't be you can't be a wing in the NBA and not a scorer in the NBA.
you gotta take those shots. And like he's had his moments, so it's not like we just don't think he can shoot it. Like you gotta shoot it. Like he's just cold. So
Yeah, a big dog. After a few weeks into the season, I had a huge trade. Received Shea, Ja, Trey, Kuz. Gave away Luka, Siakam, KPJ, Ingram. I like that. I think it's closer than like when I first thought about it, because I do like obviously Luka, Siakam. You put that up against like I don't know, man. Never mind. I love it. I like Luka and Siakam a ton. Obviously Luka for obvious reasons. But yeah, when you start getting to like KPJ, Ingram, who are two guys I like, and you put them up against your pick of who's the third worst, yeah, probably Trey and Kuz. Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah.
Randall definitely has been one of my most reliable guys so far. Had the same worries about consistency. Yeah, coming from the other guys, pre-shows. Yeah, definitely. And it's been kind of funny, right? Because I think our expectation was like one of them has to be really bad, right? Like it's hard for us to imagine Brunson comes in and can like average 15 and couple assists or like 18 plus or something, and those guys still be productive. And Randall's been amazing. Yeah, Ingram or Kuz?
It's annoying because it's actually close, but
Yeah,
I want to say Ingram so bad.
I know you. Canyon's our resident Kuz hater. Is it just because he's cringy on Twitter? Is that what it is?
No, it's not. Like I do like Ingram. I think
I
okay.
do like Ingram.
It's Ingram. Ingram is injured. He's not playing the greatest when he was healthy earlier to start the season. He's played half the games as Kuzma. Kuzma's playing really well. Like he's hit his ceiling in several games, and yet they're tied in fantasy points per game. I think season long, Ingram comes back. If he plays another 50 games and Kuzma plays another 50 games, I think Ingram ends up becoming higher on the list than Kuzma in fantasy points per game.
Yeah, they've
Beal's
been
back,
really
KP
close.
like,
Yeah,
and Kuzma's taking advantage of a Beal-less and a KP-less Wizards team, and they both will miss some time here and there. But Kuzma's had a couple games without either of them, so he's taking advantage of a depleted lineup there. And Ingram's had the opposite of the issue. He's had several weapons on that team, and he still produces, and he's been injured himself, and they're neck and neck in fantasy points per game. So I think Ingram has had a much worse environment, and they're still tied in fantasy points per game. So I would give them Ingram.
I do think it's really close. I mean, he 12 games with Zion this season, 21, 5 and 4.
Ingram's just who's the better player? Brandon Ingram is. Yeah. But that's not the question.
I could do who's the better player fantasy points all night.
Lauri Markkanen over, Chris Paul.
Right. I don't know, man. He doesn't have Lauri might get his ring before CP0.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, that was really bad. I'm gonna move on from that point. Can go to the last game that had concluded here. Bulls Heat. Amazing game for Bam.
Yeah, we could talk about for a little bit. Levine is apparently a little upset. He talks about departing from the Bulls. I mean, we could talk about it, but at the same time, specifically in the NBA, this kind of gets blown out of proportion, or these
I mean,
news
it's kind
linger
of
for
been a
very
thing though.
long.
There was a thought that Levine wasn't even going to return for this season, right? That was kind of
Yeah,
like a
it
little bit
did
of
come up
buzz.
last season as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I mean, this game was just big dominant. Bam and Vooch went at it. No Butler. Butler didn't end up playing, which is
Yeah.
surprising because he was probable. Um, so that's kind of tip your cap at why the Bulls probably won.
Hmm.
Oladipo didn't shoot well, not super surprising. Harrow didn't shoot well, a little bit more surprising. Um, Strus 1 for 7 from three, very surprising. Just didn't shoot well. Um,
Yeah, I don't know if there's much like
and the
from a
Bulls did. I
secondary
mean,
perspective, right? When you're no Kyle Lowry, no Jimmy Butler tonight, and obviously the Heat are going to have injuries through the season, but um, crazy Bam game, and obviously crazy Vooch game as well. 29-12 is nuts with DeRozan and Levine healthy, and they both had decent games too. It was just the studs tonight, right? I mean, you look at the scoring from the rest of the team.
yeah.
Kobe White,
Yeah.
14 is leading scorer after those guys. Um,
Yep.
yeah. This is a different league. Would you rather have LBJ, Fred Wood, so Fred VanVleet, Christian Wood, or PG Butler and Brunson?
Who do they have? LeBron, Van Vliet, Christian Wood, Paul George, Butler, and Brunson. CP0. Um, Probably Paul George, Butler, and Brunson. I actually don't even know if it's close. Hmm.
Yeah, how much of that is just like how do you feel about LeBron rest of the season, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, LeBron has his questions. It's been good, but
Because like
he's
I
been
know
a
this
little
isn't the
bit
question,
questioned.
but like if all those guys played the rest of the season, is it the LeBron side?
Uh, yeah, but like still barely. I think that's why I
Okay.
go the other way. Because like Butler and Brunson to me are very consistent. They have very high floors. Paul George, high floor, high ceiling, and then LeBron, high floor, high ceiling, and then but Fred and Christian have like meh floors and meh ceilings. I guess Fred
Mm-hmm.
has a pretty good ceiling, but
Yeah,
I think the second grouping has a much higher floor as a team
I gotcha. Yeah,
and
it's fair.
solid ceilings. I mean, they're all studs.
Yeah. Yo, what's up, Kick Dreams? Killian Hayes over Ivy. Yeah, it's an interesting. I think they're very close in my mind, right? Because
Yeah,
I think Killian just has such a nice floor. I know he had a disappointing game tonight, right? We can quick go to that if we're gonna talk about this question. And just kind of pull up the game tonight. Obviously, this is probably the worst game to pull up to compare these two guys because Ivy goes 34-5 and Killian goes 4-4-5. But if you look at their stretches without Cade, like this season, right? We've gotten to see
yeah,
what like 20-ish, 15 to 20 games without Ivy or without Cade for both these guys. He's kind of been what he's been this season, right? Like 15-4-4. Killian 11 6
yeah.
and a half and 3. Like that's a really close, that's a really similar floor from a fantasy perspective. Is it just it's so I think it's really close. Would you lean Ivy just because he has more? It's so weird to say more upside though, right? Because Killian has these games, right? We could pull up this same kind of game and go look at the Mavs game that Killian had, right? Where he shoots a ton of threes. Thought Hayes would do more with that opportunity. Ivy may have more skill. Yeah, it's. I'm trying not to fall into the
I
shiny
agree with that.
shiny toy narrative, right? But I do
Yeah,
think Ivy, like, I could really see Jaden Ivy become like all-star break rest of season. He's doing kind of like what Cade did. And obviously that's tough to talk about, but I think from a usage perspective, I could see that.
I think it's Ivy.
Yeah, I think so too. It's very close though. Do you agree? I feel like we're gonna I think there's a lot of Killian haters are gonna come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I think like Killian probably has better peripherals, like he does, and he can score at a clip that maybe Ivy can do. But like Ivy's just gonna consistently have more offensive like field goal attempts and usage there.
Yeah.
So
He's more
like
aggressive.
sure, yeah, sure, Killian can put up 20 or something, but he's not gonna do that nearly as
Yeah,
consistent
that's true.
as or have the opportunity to do that as consistently as Ivy. And Ivy's not like a 21-1 guy. Like he will put up 4 and 5. He will put up a near triple double, which he's done before.
Hmm.
Like he has that upside as well. So yeah, it's not like the knock you could give on Ivy in comparison to like the knock you can give to Ivy is not like that far off of anything like as far as peripherals
Right.
to
And the
the
minutes,
difference in peripheral upside is closer than you think versus like the points upside for like Ivy. Like Ivy's points upside to Killian's, I think is a much larger gap than people saying like, well, what about Killian's rebounds, assists, and defensive upside
yeah.
versus Ivy's peripheral upside? To me, that's actually closer than the points upside that you'll get, even
Right.
though
And
Killian hasn't had that.
Ivy's shown, like, you might look at the season and be like, Killian's going to average more assists, and I would agree with you. But Ivy's shown the ability, like, early in the season to have these big assist and big rebounding games, right? Was his first double
Yeah,
double with, like, rebounds?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And that was just kind of like, wait, what? Jaden Ivey?
Yeah,
10,
yeah,
11 boards? That's weird.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's Ivy. I don't want to be too like um you fall into the trap of like being a prisoner of the moment, right? You're just looking at what you most recently saw. But I think even considering the inconsistency with the Ivy minutes, some of that was returning from injury, but I still think long term they're both going to play similar minutes, but I like Ivy more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lamelo, LeBron, Fred, or KD, Paul George, and Butler. Personally, I feel KD side for
Another
sure,
LeBron
but looking for your
Friday.
opinion. I'm a big LaMelo guy, man. Uh,
Oh, so he switched LaMelo and Wood and KD and who was the other guy?
Brunson.
Brunson. Yeah. Oof. I'd probably go KD, Paul George.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go KD, Paul George. Definitely.
I think we're lower on. I do think I do want to call it. I think we are both lower on Fred than most people are.
I like Fred. It's just like these like Fred's a guy like if you're gonna talk like crap about RJ Barrett, like we should talk crap about Fred because he can go 1 for 11 from three just as much as
Well,
RJ Barrett can shoot the bed like too.
right.
Like
He
honestly,
went 2 for 11 from three just the other night, right, against the Sixers. 41 minutes, 9 points.
yeah, like
My
that's gonna happen.
yeah.
Like that's not
My
gonna happen
thing,
with Jimmy, Paul George, and Katie. It's
yeah.
just like not.
My thing with Fred, and I like he's had a really nice stretch too before that, but it's just like it is the inconsistencies. So for me, it's like I never looked at Fred as like the buy low window has closed on Fred. He had his 30 plus point game with like really efficient shooting. Like that's not the way I see Fred VanVleet.
No, like he'll have those moments as well. Like I just as much as I think like he is gonna hurt you some weeks and go 1 for 11 and just have some duds and really kill your percentages. He will have amazing weeks and have like a 35 and 10 game and really good steal upside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And I like that, dude, honestly. And I know you don't want to fall into this trap of like how you feel about the NBA, but like, dude, fully healthy Toronto, I think that's Siakam's team. And I think I like all those guys offensively, you know?
yeah,
OG, Scotty, Fred, Gary Trent's going to take shots. The inconsistencies, one, aren't even like a Fred shot attempts or Fred, how well did he shoot efficiency wise? He has some of these games where he doesn't shoot as much. Hot
yeah,
streak and I'd sell him off. Yeah, for sure. That's the way I see Fred. I think people saw the flip side. I saw a lot of tweets, and I'm not even saying they're like, oh, they're wrong. Look at all these idiotic experts. But I saw a lot of people who were like, buy low window for Fred VanVleet has closed, and I was like, oh, really? Like, we were buying low on Fred. Like, I just was kind of like, yeah, I'm fine not having Fred.
yeah.
Just because someone has a good game doesn't mean that the buy low window has closed.
Correct.
Um, gosh, that was so anti-Fred. I actually like. I don't hate him. Like, if you guys have Fred VanVleet in your teams, don't just like sell him for nothing. I feel like some people are gonna do that. Like
No, I mean
he's gonna shoot a ton.
yeah, like
And he's got solid assist floor too.
I just said, I think he's going to kill you in some weeks. I think he's going to win you in some weeks.
Yeah.
But I think most teams that like win their leagues, they usually have just a consistent team,
Yeah.
which you can still have and like afford to have a guy like Van Vliet that really is a cherry on top sometimes. But if you're gonna have a team of injured players and Van Vliet's one of your healthy guys, like it's a little too many risks for my liking, a little too inconsistent. Whereas you got like KD, Paul George, and Butler. It was a really bad example because they're all injury prone, specifically George and Butler. But like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I mean, you said KD too. I mean, I don't.
That is a bad example.
No, it's all
But you
good.
know what I mean.
Yeah. I know we're coming up on an hour here. We appreciate you guys hanging out, man. I love doing these kind of like recap chill streams where we're just talking NBA fantasy. As always, appreciate you.
Yep.
Make sure you guys are subbed, and if you aren't on Underdog Fantasy, dude, I'm gonna say it. It was a tough night tonight for the props, man. Some like weird blowouts in some of the stuff. But before tonight, if you guys aren't familiar, Underdog, player props for all sports, but obviously we mostly talk NBA. Code Canyon, 100% deposit match up to $100. Links in the description. It's Canyon's name. No, Canyon is not like supreme leader of fantasy basketball flock. He's just got the more unique name, right? Canyon.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. Whatever helps you sleep at night will.
I didn't call myself the supreme leader. I just said you weren't, right? So
I didn't call myself the supreme leader either. You did. Wait, you said it wasn't.
Let's have a chat after. We can have a chat after stream.
No, you know what? No, you know what? Will, we're gonna have a chat after. How's that sound?
Okay. You don't schedule the chats around here. All right, appreciate you guys. Much love. Hey, have a good holiday. I'm not gonna say Merry Christmas. Yeah. We're inclusive here, so if you guys aren't
Happy
Christmas
Hanukkah.
People, have a happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays.
Kwanzaa. When is Kwanzaa? Is Kwanzaa like this time thing? Did I just expose us both? We're not anti-Kwanzaa people. I'm just more of a Christmas guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what Kwanzaa is. I think it's either.
You know what just happened? Kaden just tried to spell Kwanzaa.
It is.
And Google was like, I don't even know what you're trying to say right now.
I was actually one letter off, so you can suck it.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It starts the day after Christmas, which I was thinking it did, and so thank you very much. Yeah, it's the day after Christmas till New Year's.
All right, and I think that's how we'll end it. Merry Kwanzaa, guys.
Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas.
We might. You think we'll do a recap stream before? Because we're gonna be off for the holiday a little bit.
Yeah, I will be gone from Thursday to Sunday, so it would be tomorrow. So stay tuned tomorrow for the last pre-holiday stream until next week.
Until next.
Enjoy the weekend. Football Saturday, NBA Christmas Sunday, more football Monday. World Cup's over. Messi's the GOAT. Fantastic game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Should I accept Rob Williams and Josh Hart for Gobert?
No. Definitely not.
Wait. Oh no. Yeah, sorry.
He's getting Rob
I'm
Williams.
trying to figure out. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely not. No.
Good night.
Have a good night. Peace out.
All right.